Welcome. In this video, I'm reviewing the Banker's Box store drawer. These are basically cardboard file cabinets, and they come with this plastic keeping the whole thing together. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like to put it together, and also give you my review of using these things. So this here is the tube, basically, that everything goes into. This is the outer container. And so you just fold this in. And that's basically the mouth. And then this is the back where it comes together. So looks like that. One thing you have to be careful about is, if anything, the edges are not perfectly kind of stored, or if you keep them somewhere, they won't interlock perfectly. And then you have to use tape to get it to hold together, which is not ideal. So this is the drawer component. And the key thing to understand about these is, and filing cabinets in general, is one of the key issues is when you pull the drawer out, you need to be careful. Ideally, you want to be able to pull the entire drawer out of the sleeve. And you see there's a warning sign right here. Don't pull out multiple drawers at the same time, but it's actually the bigger issue is that it's not stable. The way metal file cabinets work, if they're especially if they're 3 or 4 or 5 drawers high, is they have a special mechanism, most of them, the newer ones do, where you can only pull out one drawer at a time. And the reason why is because if you pull out multiple drawers, it'll fall over. And even with that kind of system, if you have a 4 or 5 drawer filing cabinet and you only fill that top drawer and leave the other drawers empty, and you pull that full drawer, that top drawer that's full, fully out, it will probably collapse on you, especially the newer ones that are more lightweight metal and just lightweight in general. It will fall over you, could hurt you, even kill you potentially. And so with these cardboard things, you can't, there's no weight there to counterbalance it. And so the reason why I tried these out and I don't use them, and why I would say just use the 701 instead, which is basically the same length. It's 24 inches of internal space as opposed to the 15 inches of a regular box, is because it's just not stable. And so you know, conceivably you might want to stack these 5 or 6 high, but then you'd have to, you know, these things are made out of cardboard. If you try to pull it all the way out and let it hang, you're putting a huge amount of stress on that cardboard, and it's just not going to survive. So the whole idea of like pulling it fully out, you're going to have to support that. You're going to have to basically pull it out, support it with one hand, and that's going to be like, you know, 40-50 pounds. So imagine just a static hold of a 50-pound dumbbell or a 40 or 30-pound dumbbell while you're paging through stuff. You pull stuff out, the papers flop over, you have to rearrange it, but your hand is still here, and then you have to push it back in. It's basically a 2-person job. And then it's like, well, then why don't you just use regular boxes and unstack them? So I think the use case for these is pretty narrow. So if you have all those caveats in mind and you still want to go ahead with it, you know, no problem. But I think this idea of just having a simple you know, oh, it's just like a regular cardboard thing, but just like a regular metal file cabinet, but it's just made out of cardboard. That's not accurate. There's a lot of, I think, critical problems with it that make it almost entirely useless. So I was thinking you could maybe take some packing tape or some Gorilla tape or duct tape and tape 4 or 5 of them together, and that would add some additional stability to it, especially if it was weighted down. You could potentially fill them up, not fully. You could use a book stop inside it to keep your files standing up straight, even if the drawer is not completely full. So there are some things you could do. The other thing is, I have clients in other countries where they've told me it's just very difficult to buy file cabinets. They're not sold at every office store like in America. And so if that's the case for you, or you have some need for some kind of mobile office where you do need to like pull stuff out and do that kind of stuff, I could conceivably see a reason why you would have it. But I've never seen or met anybody who actually uses them that way. And from the reviews I've looked at on Amazon, it's a lot of times doctors' offices or lawyer offices that are moving a bunch of files, and they want to retain access. And maybe you have secretaries who can't lift a big heavy box, and so you need to have it be able to pull out, but still you have to, the weight of a full drawer is basically equivalent to the weight of this box. You're just, you know, I guess you have half of it being supported, but you still need to support the other half of it with your hand. So it's still not a great solution as far as I'm concerned, but I will show you now how to put it together, and then I will tell you about, I have some courses on my system for organizing stuff, both files and folders and physical objects in boxes like this. And I also have a free spreadsheet where I've gone and measured the dimensions of all of these different boxes and done price comparison and stuff, because they're not all exactly the same. So the idea of mixing and matching different brands, or just trusting the dimensions that they put out, you can't always do that. So that's a free resource. And then I have some courses if you want a system for organizing all this stuff. So we'll get into assembling the box now. Okay, so we did the first step here. The next is to put the liner inside it. This adds some reinforcement. So this will slide in. Like that. So that's what it looks like once it slides in there. And there's one of those perforated things that you need to fold over, and then we take these and fold them. So there is a tighter fit there now. It's still not the tightest, but basically the instructions are on the back. And so first you're doing what we just did of taking that liner and sliding it in, and then folding the edges over. Now what we're going to do is take it, fold these kind of sides up, and then we're going to fold the ends together that have the handles on them. So this piece right here is actually one of the ends, and it folds over. But first we actually do the sides, and they're not identical because this side has the plastic handle on it. So we first do the side that doesn't have the handle, and then we do the side that does have the handle. So you're folding this over. Detach that. And you're basically bringing these two sides together and then folding this over and in. And you'll see this is not in the correct location because it needs to be on the outside. So you're going to remove that, and then fold that in. And if you want to add additional support, that's where this thing comes into play, where you can add that in there, and that just makes it so that there's this plastic piece doesn't rip through the cardboard as easily. So now we have the handle, and you have to get it into those little holes. You see it's right there now. And twist it, and then get it inside here. There's just enough room to slide this to add some additional reinforcement. And then we go in, we have to get this guy in here. And you can see it popping through right here. So we need to then bring this down and slide that on. So it's a little, it's not too difficult, but that's what it looks like. So that's the final product. You have this handle. It does feel quite solid. That's what it looks like from the inside. And then you take your sleeve piece and, just by the way, the back part does have a handle, so you can carry this. You're just going to be carrying it on one side with the handle, and on the other side either that. I would not recommend carrying it on this side with that handle. You probably have to put your hand underneath the bottom corner. But we take this and slide it in here. And that's your drawer. So if you, what I was saying earlier is, look at just with nothing in it. Imagine that's fully extended. There's no way if this is full of like 40, 50 pounds of paper, that's going to hold. This is going to buckle right here and collapse. And so it's nowhere near like a file cabinet where it's sliding out on metal rails. There actually is another version of this that has some metal wire reinforcement, and there's versions that have hanging folders. So you need to be very careful when you're looking at, they usually don't, you'll see these in stores sometimes, but they're not big sellers. So that's the 721. One of the things I like about Banker's Box is they put the, you're never confused about what it is because it always has that number in the top corner. That's the medium duty standard Banker's Box. This is the heavy duty standard Banker's Box. So yeah, I bought a pack of these. I think it was 4 or 5 of them. Tried it out. There's a very narrow use case, and the only use case I can really imagine is maybe you have a bunch of guys who come in and are moving everything and carrying these big boxes, but then you're going to have some secretaries or people who can't lift stuff, and so they want to have it pull out. And but even then, as you can see, you're going to have to support the bottom of that. And if you have an older person who just can't hold any significant amount of weight like that, or it would be dangerous, this is still kind of dangerous. So I'm sure there are people, I looked on Amazon, there are people who are rating this highly, and they're, you see the pictures and they pulled it out this much. And it's like, well, if you have 24 inches of files and you can only access the first quarter or the first third of them, or maybe the first half, what happens if you need something from the back half? So those are my overall thoughts. I've reviewed, there's going to be a playlist in the description. I've reviewed a ton of the Banker's Box line of products. I've tested out a lot of them, as well as Staples brand and Amazon Basics. So check out that playlist. I also have a spreadsheet where I've done comparison shopping and looked at price per box when you buy different size bundles and the different brands and how much it is per box, where to buy them, buy links, the internal and external dimensions of all these things. So you can get a sense of basic duty or light duty. That's what they call light duty, medium duty, and heavy duty. What's the difference? A lot of those measurements are not available, and so I'm the first person to put those numbers out on the internet. And so I've also got courses. I've got kind of a basic line of stuff that gives you my basic system for organizing things, and then if you want to go premium, there's some high-end systems out there that I have as well. So whether you have multiple offices or multiple homes, or want to just store stuff in your attic or your basement, or you have a storage unit, or you're moving and you want to have one overarching system that's kind of like a Dewey Decimal System or a Library of Congress classification system for all your stuff, not just physical stuff, because I use these. And another use case for these is if you're storing physical objects and not papers. So these would actually be ideal for a situation where you have like just a few larger objects, like a tripod or like a arm like this, where it's too big to store in a regular size Banker's Box, and it isn't going to have those same issues of, I need to pull it out all the way and it could crack or crumple, or could fall onto me. That's another risk. And I do use these boxes for just storing household stuff, office supplies, stuff around the workbench, decorations, seasonal stuff, clothes that are out of season, all types of stuff can be stored in these boxes, and they become sort of like those modal shipping containers, like the 20-foot, 40-foot shipping containers you see on those big ships, and then they put them onto trucks. They just vastly improve the efficiency of what you're doing to have a standardized system. And so I've created something unique with that. And you can, if you want the premium version or just guidance on what to buy, you can email me at support@timothykenny.com, and we'll get that squared away for you with whatever's our most current system at the time you watch this. And I also provide coaching and one-on-one help with this, and I have people who can help you with this as well if you've got a larger project or system you're looking for. So I'll leave it there. Let me know down in the comments what you think, any questions you have, any other products you'd like me to review. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to get more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video.